Transformers that don't transform has been a hot topic in the community for years. From G1's Action Masters to the red line of 6-inch action figures in 2020, Hasbro and Takara have attempted non-transforming lines several times, and nearly every time the response has been lukewarm at best. What's good, internet? Jake here, dumb as ever, and 6 months ago I made a video on this very topic, and I'm here again today to fill in any holes I left and also expand the topic outside of just Hasbro and Takara. We're talking model kits and high-end collectibles, baby! But before all that, if you enjoy this video, please consider liking and subscribing. Making these videos has been a dream come true, and I'm truly thankful to everyone who has subscribed and enjoyed my videos, especially from the Transformers community. The biggest thing that shocked me about the last video is how many people remembered the Transformers RPMs from their childhood. For a refresher, RPMs are Hot Wheels style cars with Transformers sculpted into the bottom of the car, so you could stand them up and quote-unquote transform them. They're honestly a decent idea and great as a budget Transformers toy. In the last video, I failed to mention that while the RPM line ended, it had a spiritual successor for Dark of the Moon called Speed Stars. Speed Stars is essentially the exact same line as RPM with a different name, with the biggest difference being they used even less paint in the Speed Stars line. I mean, seriously, look at the RPM version of Optimus Prime and compare it to the Speed Stars version. There is so much less paint, and the Speed Stars Prime just looks so much cheaper in comparison. This also made me realize that the paint was doing a lot of heavy lifting for RPMs, and the lack of paint on Speed Stars kind of makes me realize how dumb this toy concept is. Like, I already knew it was dumb, but Hasbro obviously cheaping out on an already cheap toy makes it so much worse. There were quite a few different series they did for Speed Stars, including the Trans-Scan series, which featured vehicles with translucent plastic, and the Beast Hunters series, which had animal-inspired decos. A lot of the Dark of the Moon toy line featured Stealth Force marketing, where the vehicle modes of the Transformers would become enhanced with weapons in a sort of battle vehicle state. Speed Stars did have a series featuring the cast in their Stealth Force forms, which is kinda cool. There are a lot of Dark of the Moon products that are just vehicles that transform slightly into their Stealth Force forms, which for the record I think counts as a Transformer that does transform. However, some of the Speed Stars mini changers featured a small transforming Stealth Force vehicle and a small figure of another non-transforming Transformers character. For example, Bumblebee vs. Sentinel Prime. Like RPM's Devastator track, Speed Stars also had a playset called the Bumblebee track set, which featured a looping track you would use to gain speed and knock out a statue of Revenge of the Fallen Megatron. This track just feels way less creative than the Devastator track, which has you sending your car throughout Devastator's body. Overall, I think Speed Stars is easily a worse line compared to RPM, and it featured so many repaints and decos with less paint and effort. The toy company Jada, who primarily makes die-cast toys, has been making models of Transformers vehicles from the movies and sculpting robot modes underneath of the vehicles, much like RPMs. So if you're looking for a modern version, there's that at least. Before we continue, if you like this video, please check out my Transformers playlist with all my previous Transformers videos. Anyway, toys that can mix and match have to be some of the most fun toys as a kid. When I was younger, I had these small Metabots toys from the Dollar Tree, and you could swap their parts and make your own Metabots. I thought they were awesome. Hasbro introduced this idea to their many brands with Hero Mashers, a toy line that featured Marvel, Star Wars, Jurassic World, and Transformers characters. Hero Mashers has a very specific angular and cartoony aesthetic, which works pretty well for the Marvel and Jurassic Park characters, but it kind of feels bland for the Transformers. I mean, these are Transformers action figures boiled down to their most basic form, just simple and bland. I think for me the biggest issue is the lack of vehicle parts hanging off their body. I like Transformers who have wheels on their legs and door wings and stuff like that. These Hero Mashers kinda just look naked to me, I guess.
Naked grandma! Naked, huh?
The Transformers line didn't last very long at all. It started in 2014, so of course we got Age of Extinction style Grimlock, but we also got figures based on Robots in Disguise 2015 like Steeljaw and Strongarm. Though I have no real interest or attachment to the Hero Mashers line, I will say the Jurassic World set of figures were pretty cool. I like the angular design for the dinosaurs a lot because they remind me of a childhood toy line called Extractors, which also had a mix and match element and angular designs. I don't really have a big reason to mention these besides I like dinosaurs and I thought Extractors were cool. Maybe I should make a video about dinosaur toys? Comment down below. Anyways, history repeats itself time and time again, this time in the form of MixMashers. A new toy line Hasbro announced literally 2 days before I started writing this script. This is literally Hero Mashers again with different designs. There's once again Marvel, Star Wars, and Transformers lines. Hasbro lost the Jurassic World license after the first movie, so no dinosaurs for us, sadly. These MixMashers look okay. I think the Transformers line is actually the best of the bunch. Bumblebee even has wheels on his feet and door wings, just like I was complaining about. They're using evergreen designs, so I'm a bit bored by that, but I am happy to see an Optimus Primal in the lineup. It's pretty cool that he's been included in the main evergreen lineup lately. That Beast Wars representation is really nice. Like I said, the Transformers look like the best of the new MixMashers line because each subline seems to have colors assigned to their connection pegs. For example, Transformers has Allspark Blue, a color the fanbase is familiar with, while Star Wars has dark blue pegs. Marvel has garish yellow pegs that really stand out, especially on Black Panther and Spider-Man. The yellow breaking up the black really messes with their looks. I guess MixMashers will be an easy way to make your own going on the offensive Optimus Prime though, so that's a bonus. I found out about this next toy line like 2 minutes ago when I was watching a commercial compilation. Transformers Battle Masters are Rock'em Sock'em Robot style toys with a wrestling theme. I guess Rock'em Sock'em Robots always has a wrestling theme, but you know what I mean. This commercial is actually really cool. I think the animation looks really sharp and reminds me of the movie Real Steel. Battle Masters was made by Hasbro Gaming specifically. I'm not sure why, but it might explain why several of the characters look nothing like themselves. We have a classic Optimus and Bumblebee vibe, but this is Grimlock, who at least has dinosaurs on his shoulders as opposed to Megatron, who looks nothing like any other version of the character. In fact, all the Decepticons have different designs and just look kind of generic. This is a complete guess with no facts to back it up. I did no research. But I think it's possible Hasbro Gaming designed this Battle Masters line and then slapped the Transformers name onto it and made a couple new molds to sell it. I think this toy line is vaguely interesting because of the odd designs, and they kind of seem like fun STEM toys. Not many of these were made, but for Transformers 1 they introduced a new line called Robot Battlers, which is essentially the exact same idea except the toys are on model and can transform. While I think the idea of Rock'em Sock'em robot toys is fun, in practice they usually make for boring toys with an overly simple play pattern. Speaking of Transformers 1, holy crap Lois, canon Transformers that don't transform? It was really cool to see the concept of transformation cogs explored in a movie, and I think the concept of cogless mode is really interesting. Sadly, the Studio Series and mainline Transformers are only making cogged Transformers, so there's no way to get those designs. Unless you buy some Yolopark model kits. I briefly mentioned Yolopark at the end of the last video, but since Transformers 1, their line has greatly expanded. Yolopark started off with the gigantic high-end action figures of Optimus Prime from the Bumblebee movie, and when Rise of the Beasts came out, they released their smaller AMK series of model kits. Now, I say model kits, but honestly, that's not a great name for what the toys are. I would say Yolopark is a model kit in the same way a Bionicle is a model kit. These are more just simple, buildable action figures, and for the price of $30 each, they're kind of a great deal. The Rise of the Beast kits are the first ones that caught my eye, mostly because their Scourge looks so much better than the Studio Series version. But what's really blown me away is Yolopark's offerings for Transformers 1. They release model kits for the normal cogged bots and their cogless minor forms. I'm honestly so impressed with these figures that not only only look amazing, but are scale accurate with each other with just incredible sculpted detail. As much as I love transforming toys, the Studio Series line for Transformers 1 has just been so-so, and I loved the movie so much that these highly accurate non-transforming figures scratch an itch for me. Speaking of Transformers you can build, let's talk Blokees. Blokees only appeared on my radar like 4 months ago, and since then I've seen them sponsor so many people on YouTube to talk about them. They're even at frickin' Walmarts now. So Blokees is a line of buildable action figures that come in blind boxes. In my opinion, they're actually more like model kits than Yolopark because some pieces actually come on runners. The toys have a distinct cartoony style that really works for them and sets them apart from other Transformers model kits. In fact, they kinda remind me of the Robots Heroes line, but articulated. Blokees is like if the Red Line and Kuro had a perfect Chad baby. Blokees is a Chinese company, so originally the blind boxes were sold on AliExpress, but they've been making the transition to a more Western audience and have put out 5 series of Blokees figures so far. The first 4 sets of Blokees featured G1 characters, though Tarn slipped through and made it into the 4th set. Tarn doesn't count as G1, right? Right. The 5th set ties into Transformers 1 and features 3 cogless minor versions of Hound, Ironhide, and Wheeljack, as well as the Death Trackers, Sentinel's drone-like henchmen. There were no toys for any of these characters before this Blokees series, so that's awesome. Aw man, their D16 even has the Megatronus scar on it. These guys are so sick. Though they're mainly known for their blind box line, Blokees has been making bigger action figures called Classic Class. The Classic style figures are a bit bigger and have a much more involved build. It's a lot more similar to a Gundam style model kit. Though the figures are bigger, they do still keep that cartoony blocky style, and look how badass the 2007 Optimus and Megatron are. I have a lot of hope for Blokees in the future, and I look forward to what they cook up for their blind boxes next. I'm hoping we get some small 2007 designs in the future. I need some adorable murderous aliens for my desk right now. Right now. We're going to end our model kit journey with Flame Toys, who do fully Gundam style model kits. Flame Toys only knows how to make 2 types of model kits: IDW comic characters and super sexy G1 characters. Rodimus fits both of these categories. Like, I mean seriously, look at this Devastator. Why is he so hot? Devastator isn't supposed to be hot. Or is he? Sometimes they get a bit too sexy and borderline creepy with their female model kits. Like, they just fully gave Windblade butt cheeks. I think my biggest problem with the female designs is that they just look way too human. Transformers are alien after all, so I don't really see the point in giving RC a belly button. As a counterpoint to the sexist model kits, they did make a Bug Bite, which is pretty freaking cool. Bug Bite's awesome. Honestly, I would say go for Yolopark over Flame Toys kits. Obviously, it depends on the character you want, but I do feel like you get more quality for less money when it comes to Yolopark, though you do lose out on a longer building experience. Flame Toys also has a line of non-transforming Transformers that are not model kits called Kuro, Kara, Kuri. This line of figures is high-end, with some figures costing over $400, which sounds, and is, insane, but the figures are huge and come with a ton of awesome accessories, like this Optimus that comes with a giant Matrix sword, and his axe is clearly inspired by Animated. That's awesome. Obviously, these toys are not meant for some of us common folk, but if you have the means and want a very showy collection, this is the route I would go. The final toys we're going to discuss today are the high-end action figures created by threezero. I've heard of threezero for a long time, but have never looked closely at their products because before making these videos, Transformers that don't transform were kind of a novelty to me, and I wasn't really interested in the concept as a consumer. But now, after 2 videos, I've come to appreciate the idea greatly, especially when I see figures like threezero's MDLX line, which are superposable high-end 6-inch action figures. These G1 Transformers designs feel like they were made to evoke the Bumblebee movie Cybertron aesthetic in an expanded way. Like, if Bumblebee Starscream went to Earth, he might look something like this figure. The MDLX line is also tackling the Transformers 1 main cast, and let me just say, their Orion packs in D16 are amazing. Both figures have a gimmick that lets you switch out their armor and weapons so you can digivolve them into Optimus and Megatron. The best best part is that these TF1 figures in particular are only $60, which is an amazing price for such high quality figures, especially when you factor in the extra armor pieces. What threezero is really known for is their DLX line of 12-inch Transformers, with the most of the line being based on the movie characters. It's an understatement to say these figures are incredible. They are literally picture-perfect recreations of the movie models, and they still have amazing articulation. This Bumblebee toy literally just looks like a render from the movie. The DLX line looks like statues, but have so much flexibility, and even more details are revealed when you bend an arm or a knee. And look, this Bumblebee movie Soundwave even has a Ravage accessory that does transform. That's crazy, because there are very few Transformers that transform not made by Hasbro. The only other one I can think of is that overpriced Hot Wheels G1 Optimus. I'm a guy who generally prefers Generations figures. I never really dabble outside of that line of figures, but whoo boy, seeing these makes me want to give them a try. I feel like a D-Tall filled with DLX figures would look amazing. Very few Transformers toys have looked like I could pull them out of the TV screen like in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, but the threezero DLX line delivers. I can say for sure after these two videos that I've come to really enjoy the idea of Transformers that don't transform and what they bring to the table. Thanks for watching, please like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video, and please check out my Transformers podcast, Bat Kibble. See ya!